Building an indie business in the center of venture capital. I am Alex Edmonds. Some people know me as Supreme Romham on the internet, and this is the Building an Indie Business podcast. Okay, so let's get started today. Today I'm going to be going over how to make an ebook and make $1 million with that ebook. Okay, so I'm going to be going over how I created the ebook, how I created the cover, how I turned that written document into an actual ebook, the platforms I've been using to sell the ebook, and why not Amazon, dun dun, and also how to make $1 million. Okay, so let's get into it. So I started on Google Docs. Yes, I did. So I would write, so here's what I would do. I made each chapter its own Google Doc. And then I took all those Google Docs and I put them in one huge file. And every couple of days, I would back up the files to my Seagate, my external storage, just because you never know what would happen with things and the cloud. So I don't trust it. And now that I said that, something bad will happen to me. That's a cloud issue. Okay. But seriously, I don't use Microsoft Word, so I'm not sure if they have this feature, but you can download your Google Doc as an EPUB file, which saves you some headaches in the future if you're making an ebook. And then for the dark mode version of the book, I did this by making the page color gray. So how you do that is you go to File, Page Setup, and then you make the font white. No, you make the page gray and then the font white. And that is how you create a dark mode ebook. Okay, so the next thing you need after you have your book is your cover. And so I used Photoshop to make my cover. You can also use Canva, but whatever. I use Photoshop. I have for over 5 years now. And so the size that I made my cover is 469 pixels, nice, by 751. And the reason I did this is because when I uploaded other books to Calibre, books that looked nice in my book app, that was the size of their cover, so I just copied them. Okay, now Calibre. Calibre is the ebook management app, I guess I would say, that I use to take my EPUB files and turn them into an actual book. Because you see, I didn't mention anything about putting the cover in the Google Doc or the table of contents or metadata for the book. So this is how I created all those things. So you upload, this is a little bit confusing right here. You upload the EPUB file from Google to Calibre, and then you convert that EPUB file into an EPUB file and a PDF at the same time. This is where you would add the cover and you create the table of contents. So to create the table of contents, you want to set the roles for the table of contents to only use the H1 tags, and the H1 tags in a book are the title chapters. So it would be live streaming to grow your podcast, using surveys to grow your podcast, random tips. Those are the chapter titles. So you in your Google Doc, you're gonna make those an H1 tag, and then when you set up your table of contents. It'll ask you what style of heading do you want your H1 tags to be, or no, your table of contents to be, and you have H1 tags. If you leave it normally, it'll do H2 and H3. It'll do all the H's. And then your table of contents is like 10 pages long. This is actually something I struggled with, and it took me a lot of effort, or no, a lot of trial and error to fix this problem. Because it's not just like, it doesn't say, oh, what headings do you want in your table of contents? It's like this whole string, and you have to figure out what that string means. And so, yeah, it's kind of difficult. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do in Calibre is add your metadata to the book so that when you upload it places, it keeps this data. So tags, my tags were like marketing, podcasting, podcast, things like that. Oh, comedy, stand-up comedy. And then you're going to add the publisher. So just for fun, I made the publisher Open Podcast Community. So yeah, and then you're going to add your author metadata. I don't know who the author was, so okay. And then once you do this, you're going to convert it. No, you're going to accept you're going to make it your actual ebook. That's what I'm trying to say. Then that ebook will have formatting issues. So you need to fix those. So my formatting issues were that at the last second, I decided to center all my H tags. So my H2, my H3, and then for some reason, when I would make it into my ebook, the H tags were not centered, in like just a few of them. So I had to figure out why it wasn't centered. I don't even remember why, but like a couple I missed, of course, because there was probably over 100, so I'm gonna miss a couple. And then yeah, those just weren't centered, so I had to make sure the formatting was correct and it was aligned with all the other ones. Make sure I didn't do anything different with those tags versus the other ones. So I had to fix those, and it happened again and happened again. So yeah, from Calibre you're going to get the EPUB and the PDF file, and then you're going to take those files and you're going to add them to Gumroad, LeanPub, and Google Books. So the fees for each one, Gumroad is 8% plus 30 cents. In other episodes or future episodes, I might refer to it as just 10%. It's just easier in my brain to think about it like that. Then LeanPub. LeanPub is 20%. Google's 30%. But over $9.99, the fee is 48%. So I made the book $19.49, and so that I get 51% of each sale. Yeah. Okay. And so the difference between Gumroad and LeanPub is Gumroad is just its own. It's like your storefront. There's hardly any like discovery where you can get organic sales through Gumroad. And with LeanPub, it's an online bookstore, so you can search, or like users can search for things, and that's the difference. That's why LeanPub is 20% and Gumroad is 10%. There is a Gumroad feature, like a Gumroad Discover feature, and this is where people can search for things, and that's where they take 20%. But yeah, I don't think, if you have a small audience, I guess, you're not going to be using that, or people aren't going to be discovering your product through that, whatever. Okay. So you may have noticed that there's one sales platform that is missing, and that is Amazon. Okay, so let's talk. Why not Amazon? Many people have asked me, why not put it on Amazon? And I'm going to discuss it right now. Okay, So the very first thing is that they have their own format. And with that format, you have to jump through extra hoops. And that format is mobile. You can get it on Caliber, but it is different from an EPUB and the PDF. Before, like I would convert it into a mobile, but there were different formatting issues that would come up that the EPUB and the PDF did not have. So I looked this up. I was like, what is mobile for? And it turns out, or it said that it's only for Amazon. It's Amazon specific format for their ebooks. And so I just dropped it immediately right there. Yes. So that is one reason. Also, Amazon is a sales platform only, to be honest. It doesn't mean I'll make more sales, or any sales for that matter. So I could be jumping through all these hoops, doing everything they ask, and it doesn't mean I'll sell another book or more books on their platform. Okay, I'm not a fan of monopolies. You hear me talk about big business all the time, so I don't want to. It's like voting with your dollars, right? So when you sell a book on their platform, they make money, so you're supporting them. Another thing with Amazon is I don't know who buys my book. So for Lean Pub, what the other one, Gumroad, I don't know if Google for sure, but I have the email of everyone who buys any product, right? So I can reach out to them. I could tell them about something I'm working on. I could tell them about the podcast if they don't know about it. I can't do that with Amazon. It's not cool. And I didn't even start to put my book on Amazon, but there are probably no analytics, so there's that too. And finally, I get $6 a copy, no matter what. Not no matter what, but that's so they take. So it's similar to Google. So it's 30% for if your book is at $9.99. Then if your book is over that, they take 70%. So at $19.49, I would be making $6 still, right? So yeah, that's $6 a copy. I didn't want to be making $6 a copy because, as I said earlier in a previous episode, my book was to make $15 a copy and sell 25 copies. So that number at $6 a copy would have to be more than twice that. I'd have to sell 50 copies. And yeah, not cool. So you're probably wondering, what's the difference between Amazon and Google, because they have the same fee structure basically. Well, one, Google's is 48%, not 70%, so they're not taking the majority away. And two, and this is an even bigger reason, is that I didn't have to jump through hoops to put my ebook on Google. It was just the EPUB file and the PDF file. They didn't have a special format, and that's it. The only real issue that I had with Google is that I had to confirm my bank account to put the book live on Google Books or whatever it's called. Yeah, but that wasn't, like, the book was already uploaded and I just had to come back like 3 or 4 days later. I didn't have issues that I had to fix and keep fixing and fix again until it got perfect for them. And I also think on Amazon they might actually read the books and approve them, which I didn't have to do for any of the 3 platforms. And I am not going to do it for Amazon. Period. Okay. Finally, the question you've all been waiting for. How do you make $1 million from an ebook? Okay. The first thing you do is you make the price $1 million, and then you find one person to buy it. Okay, that's it. I run the Open Podcast community, and we have the Open Podcast Community podcast. So if you don't have, if you want experience podcasting without going through the hassle of setting up a podcast, talk to me. Reach out to me on Twitter at SupremeRealmHam. I'm on Telegram, same username, and email me, supremerealmham@gmail.com. There's also the Open Podcast blog. I'm looking for writers, so if you want to write about your experience podcasting or setting up a podcast or whatever, you can do that with the Open Podcast community audience. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day. Bye.